Part 2. Mother twists story to get fake sympathy points from Reddit. Daughter makes her own post to set the record straight. I hate my mom and how she convinced thousands of people that she's the victim. This is going to be long, but please bear with me. I, 23F, am no longer in contact with my mom, Jane, because of years of abuse, manipulation, fearmongering, and hatred. I was conceived through a one-night stand. Jane couldn't get in contact with the guy and so carried and raised me as a single mother until she met someone. And God did she let me know about it. She made sure to tell me how unwanted, unlovable, and disgusting I was. She admitted to neglecting me as an infant and toddler and how she would essentially have screaming matches with me. When I was 5, she met William and they fell in love. They got married within a year and William adopted me after his twin sons, John and Oscar, 16M, were born. I was 7. Their relationship moved very fast and I believe it caused a lot of turmoil. I truly believe the pregnancy was to trap William, but that's speculation and opening a whole can of worms. During the pregnancy, Jane would have tantrums about having twins. How she only wanted one, and how she only loved the first one that came out. This was a new side to her that William hadn't seen before and he shut it down quickly. Well, she kept her promise and only gave attention to Oscar. John was completely neglected by her other than to feed. She had intense PPD and that's not her fault, but what is how she handled it. She refused to get help and claimed PPD/PPP is for insane and bad mothers. At some point when the boys were a year or so old, she was admitted into hospital for having intense thoughts about hurting herself or others. She was diagnosed with depression, anxiety and PPP. She spent 5 months in hospital/a mental health facility. When she got out, both sides of the family had a big sit-down and told her their expectations. We moved out when William got home and found me at age 11 trying to cook dinner for my brothers. She had also thrown a ton of stuff around in a fit of rage because I said she probably shouldn't take Oscar to the shop if she can walk straight. William packed our stuff up and we left for his mother's. Jane was not happy about that. When he found out she had thrown shit around and at me, he was furious. He filed for divorce the following Monday. The court gave him full custody with mandated visitations from Jane. I remember crying myself to sleep when I found that out. We moved out of Grandma's house and into a nice flat where we seemed to get our life together. Other than the visitation, we were good. Until William got a new job and we had to move across the city. This set Jane off, who up until this point, had been on mostly good behavior. We moved closer to William's sister and her family. They all knew about Jane, Aunt was on the contact list, but we all tried to move forward. Things were good for a couple of years but then I turned 16. The day after my 16th, I got a text from Jane telling me that she's moving out and that I need to pack up my stuff from my old room. I went, stupidly, and began putting things into piles. Jane just stood in the doorway and eventually began bawling her eyes out. She began apologizing for everything she had done and how she feels like a failure. This is when she told me about the emotional and verbal abuse she inflicted on me as an infant/toddler and how she blames herself for my numerous mental health issues. This was all leading up to her asking if I could ever forgive her. I said no. I said that she may feel guilty, but she's stuck in the cycle where she's abused the boys as well. She lost her fucking mind and kicked me out. It got a little physical between us and she ended up screaming that I am no longer her daughter and how she's disowning me. When I got home, I told William everything. He was furious too and went to her place and arrived back home hours later with our stuff. I don't know what went down and I don't want to. We filed a police report, I had scrapes and bruises, and her mandated visits were lifted. A weight had been lifted off my shoulders. It was like this black cloud of negativity had finally eased up. I felt so much happier. I began to focus on school and my family without dreading having to see her. We couldn't get a RO, but she kept her distance. She would send birthday and Christmas cards, but we never reciprocated. The boys know a bit about what went down, but William was very frugal with what he told them. He said he didn't want to inflict unnecessary emotional damage onto them. Then, on their 16th, she shows up. Which was weird because she never shows up to anything. I kept my distance and stayed in the kitchen but I could still see and hear everything. I was shaking in fear and had to run to the bathroom at one point. She had bought them both Nintendo Switches. They both opened her presents last and both quietly thanked her. There was no insults being thrown around, no one said, "Let her go, it won't make a difference." The atmosphere was stifling. In fact, it was Jane who yelled and insulted first. She called the twins ungrateful brats, and the second she stood up to yell, William and Auntie began to push her outside. As she was being pushed, she points at the twins and yelled, "You're both fucking ungrateful, unlovable little cunts, and my biggest regret is not aborting you when I had the chance." The party was naturally ruined at this point, and the boys are both totally emotionally destroyed. William left at one point to go and talk to her because she had blocked William, the only one who has her number, but I don't know the specifics. It's been a few weeks since the incident, and the boys are both destroyed. Oscar has become a recluse and John isn't eating. I'm furious. I'm sorry for making this so long, I'm just so mad, traumatized and upset by the whole thing.